Hello, people, welcome back. And today I'll be talking about why and how I'm learning a new language as a soon to be international student. If you're new here, hi, I'm Chaitanya. I'm from India and I'll be moving to Sweden this August for my master's studies. Now, by no means am I an expert at guiding other students, but I can tell you as a student what I have done, what I have found out, what I have experienced. Now, whether or not you should be learning a new language depends on your individual situation, of course, but let's take some examples. Let's say you are moving to a country where you want to set up a career. If you want to live in that country for a long time after you have completed your studies, you most likely should be learning that language, especially if you want to adapt to their culture, because language is an important part of any culture. So that is situation one. Now, situation two, let's say you're moving to a country where most people don't speak English and they have a separate language which they usually use. In that situation as well, you have to learn the language, because in this situation, your daily communication depends upon whether or not you know their language, because most people do not speak in English. So this is another situation where learning their language is going to be an essential thing. But let's take another situation where you're moving to a country where most people do speak in English and your program is also English taught, whatever program you might be enrolled in, bachelor's or master's. If it's English taught and most people do speak in English and you don't want to work there in the future, you just plan on studying there, completing a degree and coming back home or moving to another country for that matter, you might not need to learn their language. So just like I told you, it depends on your individual situation. But in my personal opinion, if you are moving to a country where you plan on working in the future after you complete your degree, you should be learning their language. At least learn their language to a certain extent where you can have daily conversations with them. Just learn basic phrases, learn things that will be important at the workplace and sometimes even outside the workplace. Just learn the basic things that language involves. Now, of course, while learning a language, learning the very basics is the bare minimum that you can do, but you can do a lot more. And I'll share with you what I am doing right now in order to learn Swedish. First and foremost, get a book. Now, this is one of the most underrated things that most people do not follow for some reason. A lot of people, when they want to learn a new language, you'll see them download Duolingo and just call it a day. Now, Duolingo and apps like that are usually good if you want to maintain the consistency day after day of learning that language. In fact, even I have Duolingo for Swedish. I have also bought the family plan in which you can add 6 members, which gives you unlimited energy. So yes, Duolingo is definitely a big part of my preparation as well. But getting a book is one of the best things that you can do, because you can learn a lot of things that you might not be able to learn from other places. Now, personally, in order to learn Swedish, this is the book that I got. It's called Complete Swedish. You can see here it's affiliated with the Teach Yourself library as well, which is a mobile app which helps you learn the language simultaneously alongside the book. And here you can see the author's name as well. This is one of the most comprehensive books that I've ever come across in order to learn a language. I am well versed with 4 different languages, but the quality of this book is something that I've never ever come across before in any other book. So if you want to learn Swedish, I'll definitely recommend this book. I'll also leave the link in the description below. But if you want to learn any language, if you want to learn Danish, if you want to learn Dutch, if you want to learn German, French, there are good books out there without a doubt. You just have to do your own research. You have to look it up. You have to find out what book you think might be the best for you, and you need to buy that book and you need to start learning today, because books are the best resources that you will ever come across in order to learn a new language. Second thing, I already talked about this, Duolingo. Now, Duolingo might not be the best option for you if you want to learn a language in great detail, but it is a great tool to keep that encouragement up, because you have to keep that streak alive. You have to practice every single day. It also helps you make that practice fun, because it's a lot of animated stuff. You also get hearing exercise, you also get speaking exercises, all of these things. Which is why, even though I would not keep Duolingo at position 1, I would not give it the first priority, I would definitely include it in my arsenal while learning a new language. Now, of course, if you don't know, Duolingo has 2 different options. You can keep it completely free, where you get limited energy every single day and you can only make so many mistakes. And another option is you can get a paid version, especially the family version, in which 6 different people can get access to that paid version and you get unlimited energy. You can practice all day, literally. But of course, course, most people won't. But the point is, if you get beyond a certain point in the language, you are bound to make mistakes. You are going to come across a lot of limitations with the free plan. So if you are planning on learning the language very seriously, I would definitely recommend to go with a family plan, especially if you can gather a lot of different people who can also contribute. The paid version is quite cheap, honestly. For 1 year, every single person might have to pay around 300 or 400 rupees, which is completely reasonable in my opinion. Now, another thing that a lot of people completely ignore when they're learning a new language is the fact that you will not understand what the natives are saying unless you get exposure to what the natives are saying. If you want to learn a language in completeness, you need to start watching shows as well. You need to start watching Netflix shows. There are a lot of different shows in a lot of different languages, even Swedish. Swedish is usually not considered a language that a lot of people learn. German is usually considered a language, or French is usually considered a language that a lot of people learn. But even though Swedish is not a universal language, there are a lot of Swedish shows on Netflix. And these shows most of the time will provide you with not only English audio and subtitles, because most people understand English, but they'll also give you that particular language's audio and that particular language's subtitles. In my case, Swedish audio and Swedish subtitles. What I personally do to maximize how much I learn from every single episode, first I'll watch an episode with English subtitles and Swedish audio. What this will basically help you do is understand certain meanings of certain words, because you are watching the show with English subtitles which you already understand, and you are listening to the Swedish audio, which means you'll be able to connect the two of them very easily, if that makes sense. Next, what I do is I'll watch that same exact episode, maybe a few hours later, maybe a day later even. I'll watch the same exact episode, but I'll watch Swedish audio and Swedish subtitles, because now you know the storyline. So this will help you understand how they say certain words. This will help you understand what their pace is when they're talking. Now, of course, this tip is only going to work after you have a basic grasp of the language. You know a few words, you know how to frame basic sentences. That's the point where you should start watching these shows. But before that, you need to focus on the book. You need to learn the basics of the language, and you need to focus on Duolingo so that you can keep that consistency up. But once you're familiar with the language, you can definitely start watching shows. Now, with 3 of the main things out of the way, we move on to the 4th one, which is vocabulary. You need to learn new words every single day, every single week. Once you start learning a new language, it really humbles you, because you start realizing that you don't know about a lot of the words in the new language which you usually use in your daily conversations. So what you need to do is you need to think about what daily conversations you have. You need to separate the words that you don't know from those conversations, and then you need to search up those words from Google Translation or ChatGPT or whatever tool you might want to use. You need to look up those words and you need to understand the translation. Placement of those words you'll understand from the book, but the words themselves you'll have to learn on your own. You'll have to practice self-teaching. You'll have to practice self-learning. That's the only way you get beyond a certain point while learning a new language. So these were the 4 main things which I have been following for the past few months, and the amount of progress I've been able to make is tremendous. So I'll definitely suggest you go ahead with all 4 of these tips. And if you found this video helpful or informative or enjoyable in any way, definitely leave a like, leave a comment, leave a subscribe. Let me know what I should cover next. Let me know what experience I should share with you next. And until next time, bye-bye.